Hey, computer people. I'm gonna like sort of take a guess, like when I try these things out. I mean, the things that come on the news, it's like impulsive. Like I want to say something, but like then again, I mean, well, see, the yellow numbers is like, see, yellow is competence. Is like the competence color. But then again, like I mean, a lot of times some of these are kind of cool or funny, or they work for what we're doing, or maybe not. But then like but yeah, I don't even know what to do. Or is the yellow numbers like being of service to black people in some way? But it's okay. Sometimes you make a video and it doesn't have a yellow number, but that's like doesn't mean that just you could make a video like that. Or I mean, what I'm trying to say is I'm saying about how the language gets used, like that it's not one party or the other, but it's like it's the creeping in of this thing, and like they finally did have it just ramps up so slowly, but so fast. The way they creep the language in, it's like all of a sudden, like right, like they're normalizing the idea of like that American citizens like the whole idea of like American citizens killed by a drone, like but like it entered the discussion and then they talk about it and both parties debate it, but the very fact that they're talking about it, well, it's like happening overseas, but they were talking about it for a while and just saying drone attacks on American citizens, so you're sort of like getting used to like hearing that phrase. I'm getting used to hearing politicians talk about it, but like it shouldn't even really be like a topic. Like under no circumstances such a thing happen. But like why like politicians even like using this language now? And then it turns out, oh, there is drone monitoring, and then it's like, oh, but it was surveillance. It has something to do with this and that, and it's like in rural areas. But wait a minute, this is a really big problem, and it is what happened in the '90s. Like they do a thing, like they have this thing what they call far right wing groups, and they depict them to people. It's part of the undercurrent of like the liberalism thing is like there's all these people in patriot movements and like religious fanatics and then militias, and they demonize them, but they demonize people. Don't know people like that. They do not know what people like that are like. I met some of them. Some of them in Arizona. Some of them are like. They were going in Arizona. The militia sent them to get sober. Like they're highly intelligent. Like a lot of what they're doing is like sort of like, quite frankly, I would say like acting something out. They're sort of like psychologically preparing. They are scared. Spiritual groups have been targeted, and then like right, like but they're sneaking it in now. Like all of a sudden, like it's okay to debate on the news. Like well, they do some drone monitoring of people, but it's in rural areas and it has something to do with cattle or something. But right, but is it just the thing like if you and your friends or whatever, like or whatever, there are people like who are scared about what's happening in general, what's happening in the institutions. People like me, quite frankly, who I've even said I was thinking of going and moving to that like place they're building and like living like sort of like more like old-fashioned times. It's like a place where they don't want any like Jews or anything. It's going to be in like the Pacific Northwest. They have their own flag. Like people are making their own religious communities. Like at the time of the end. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's like spiritual. Like some of them are afraid because people like that have been killed by the government for no reason. Like but they're slowly creeping this idea that drones like do monitor things, but don't worry, it's in rural areas. Right, and if they like happen to kill people who are like in a group, they're gonna say it was a fanatic group or they were a threat to the government or something. But they've eased in the conversation. But the very fact that they're showing you this footage of like cattle and saying, "Oh, don't worry, like there is some drone monitoring, but it has something to do with things going on in the woods that you understand," and it's that patriot thing, or they're fanatics, and like right, it probably is like some group of people that like want to live apart or something, or I mean, you would worry about that community, that whole thing. I mean. They call it a white homeland. They mean like they want to get away from like crazy like institutional structures and people like calling themselves Jews who are like doing a study and like are doing like crazy things and they want to be left alone and they're going out and living more like old-fashioned ways, like covered wagon times or something, and maybe they do have guns but they're afraid because people like that have been killed for no reason. Right, and they've eased in this idea, like now there's drones monitoring people and everything. Like, I mean, it just, I don't know, the way they see the media is like, it's weird how it's like, someone's telling, it's not the media is covering politicians that are now openly discussing these things as an issue, but it really shouldn't be an issue. There should just be like a no, like no, none of this even in the language. But therefore, it becomes news. They bring people on to chat about it, but they're doing it in the daytime. Things your narrator like notices, but I notice it because I am sympathetic to people like that because they're misunderstood, and like it is half the time like sort of people like in some Protestant group or like want to be left alone, or people like me have been banged up but like are perceived to be like nuts or dangerous. The whole of California perceives people like me that way. That's why we want to go live in like places like that and be left alone. That's that they're being monitored by the drones, the same drones that are like. How do we feel about drone attacks on American citizens? As though that's like okay to talk about, like it's normal. Yeah, they're monitoring people. I don't know. I thought I should make a video. I don't know who we're getting this out to. That's a serious thing. But they're doing it. This is what they do, and like I said, when there's a liberal president, like they sneak in all these weird things, like things you don't know are going on, because like in liberalism times, like it's an easy time to sneak it in, but then when it happens, they're gonna say that they're in a patriot movement, like they were racist or something, and it gets covered up. I mean, that's but it's easy to talk. The one reason I want to get at it is it's easy to talk about once you had gone through this whole game and you're in like a nice town like this, and I have like integrated medicine people, and I'm sort of like being monitored by psychologists. But no. A person gets scared about this at their university or something will be called dangerous and removed. Remember, I was called by security officers for asking about things like this in a graduate school. So no, it's good to make a video. I don't know, but you don't know what the yellow numbers mean about something like this, like talk slower or no gaga or Mao, or like we don't know what the yellow numbers mean entirely all the time.